out in the Pacific Northwest, we have structure like this that has been, oh, it's water damage. No, it's electrical damage. Yeah.
I don't want to bet my life of anything. I just want to report what I see.
Well,
Graham Hancock says I'm a journalist.
Well,
Julia, what?
Here's another aspect, though. These changes of the
if there was a
sun
big flood everywhere and you have a plasma event, it would kind of like electrocute, charge the water, and kind of look like
the electric universe theory of like the Thunderbolts project. There's Vilskovsky.
Yeah, those guys are so boring. I really don't want to be a big fan.
But the thing is like they're all trying to give they're finding evidence of it coming from like out in the galaxy or the solar system, whatever the heck, but it's electroplasma events of some sort at some time that I get out of it that could have caused it originally, right? And that in these different ages of the sun or whatever these shifts are, who knows? It's fascinating what could actually be the reality of the real history from what modern science tries to tell us. But yeah, sorry to interrupt. Give us
I think that one thing that kind of supports two things is this big a Drar Plateau. Everything you see that's red is about 2,000 feet above sea level. The Rashat, that's actually down at 13. The yellow, the green, 1276. So it's concave. It's a bowl. It's carved out of there. And what actually could have removed all that content? If you had an electrical event, maybe it kind of turned it, how it turned it into magma, maybe. But if it's in a so-called dome incline, like they say, and they say, well, that's not related to volcano, that's tectonic. That's what are you talking about? The tectonic is movement of plates. Yeah, so the red part is a very thick layer. I guess it's sandstone, but it's like slate. When you drive up the mountain to get up to the top, you see all that. It's like a billion pyramids. That's definitely going to be some type of a conductor or attractant to an electrical event. It's in the middle of all that sand and there's nothing else. I don't know. Maybe it's even the squatting man event.
This is ancient demigod technology, and it's like built on a galactic scale, essentially. Like what if anybody's ever looked into Cydonia of Mars and like all the matching ancient mountain pyramids out there, and then with Samir Osmanovich's unbelievably like great research over the last 20 years, and to the point where they've been able to measure, track, image, and show that the pyramid of the sun literally has an energy beam coming out of it that follows and tracks along with the sun each day. That's, and then that when they found Chichen Itza, when they found Teotihuacan, they were covered in like both what's that crystal? It was
mica,
which is
like a vitrification
insulator.
And where they were mining it was 1,000 miles to the south.
Yeah, right. So it's like they had these layers of them, and then they're told that they were also covered on top of that with like gold and silver, like layers of metal, like literal layers of.
So
gold,
just
metal
a weird quick point of
And
reference. We're showing all this here. So
exactly.
Cairo, Egypt is known from Al Qaira, which means Mars. So Cairo is Mars. And so on Mars we have Cydonia, and Cydonia is the area around Cairo that makes up Giza and goes all the way out into the eastern desert and partially into the western desert.
Yeah, I've been looking at this
Cydonia on Mars. So anyway, just connect.
Just look at how clear the 1976 image is compared to what they show us now.
Right?
Yeah, it's black and white. But yeah, this was supposed to be the Pentagon. Actually, I'm wrong. I made a mistake. But anyways, the Pentagon is right there in that little picture, and then this little thing, you can't even see what the hell's going on. But I don't know if you remember, like I do, because we were waiting and waiting for the new scans of this face on Mars, Well, I think it was 1992 we finally got to see it.
Yeah,
But the
they showed us the
newscasters-
cat box, and it was like
They
4
showed us-
overlaid images.
How old are you, Hans? You remember?
Oh,
How old
I'm
are
well
you?
aware of this stuff. It's like
I'm old,
the
my
first-
friend.
okay,
Not
so
the age,
you had
it's
to
the
wait like
mileage.
12 years between like the first time when it gave you this clear image of the impossible face, and then like the supposed next one 12 years later from the.
It was a cat box, like you just said.
But it's like
It
the
was
They were
technology.
laughing at us.
I'm not
They didn't
buying
even
it.
show
I'm
it.
not buying
Right.
it.
Here's the thing: the technology was exponentially better by a decade, yet the image quality they gave and delivered was exponentially degraded by 2 to 3 like levels of
Right.
technology.
And they did
lower.
it
It was like they were
intentionally.
blatantly lying to us, and you know how it is when you hear all
Devon
the
Island. Devon Island.
Which one
They
island?
did it
Which one?
intentionally. Yeah.
Devon Island. Like that's where it's like they go and practice. Like NASA's like, oh, we just send our rovers there at Devon Island, but people have found
up in the
that what they
Arctic,
tell us
yeah.
is Mars. What they tell us is Mars is actually Devon Island, Canada.
Oh,
And-
really?
Yeah, but then they
So-
admit that they admit
So
that they
here's
go
the thing
there and
with
they
Devon
train
Island.
there, but they won't admit that that's what
Yeah,
they're
they
claiming.
distract you with some things that are true, some things that are not true.
Yeah, so Devon Island is the largest uninhabited island in the world, and it's in the largest northernmost island of Canada, and it is also where NASA officially does its like rover
And if you look at
testing,
side-by-side
like,
pictures
development
of-
testing. But
Where
and then
is
the very
it? Where's
last
Devon
part of it,
Island?
up
It's
It's
way
the
way
north-
up in
north,
the
way
way
north.
up in the
the
Nordic.
giant one at the most north of Canada, and that it also I've done an
Yeah,
episode
exactly.
with shout out to Shem Jacobs, who was on here earlier, but it took too long to get going. He had to leave. But with him and Elkman, where the Elkman showed an ancient map of an area of Devon Island called Pyramid Bay, and then live on this episode, I looked up some images, and boom, there's several mountain pyramids on Devon Island. And that the whole bay areas and canals, there's giant terraformed canals and pyramids all throughout this area of Devon Island, literally Canada's most
Remember, a pyramid.
But there's some
doesn't
people that have done
necessarily
some
mean
pretty
it has
big
to be
research.
Coming to a pinnacle, all the pyramids in South America don't come to pinnacles. Even the ones in Peru.
There's some
they
great
don't come
research
to
that will
pinnacles.
show things that are on Devon Island and then show previous photos that they claim were Mars photos.
What the hell is this? What's going on there? Is that a cave?
Right?
right. Like there's just so much ridiculous.
Well, I want to see. I want to hurry through these. There's 20 of them. I can't help myself. I just can't stop.
I'll pull up a
Somebody
couple
grab my
pictures.
Delicious content.
All right. So, where's these pyramids?
I'll find them. I've got images saved. You continue.
like
on
I said,
with,
they don't necessarily need to come to a
well, we're getting
pinnacle.
distracted from the
It can be
records.
partial structure. Yeah.
And also, I can't wait for you to show me the stuff that you're talking about in Colorado. In fact, why don't we just go there right now? Because look, the Rashad structure has led me to so much more that I can't unsee or unexperience. if I start, everybody write down at Zero Control. He's a guy I know. His channel at Zero Control. He's the one said go look at Lesotho. So I went down there and looked at it. I don't want to get too deep into it, but did I show you all the? Let me just go to the one map I have. It's right here. Show on map. So if you look, all those little yellow lines, one of them is even 100 miles long. These are the volcanic dikes that I've traced. These. Let me just show you the one I know I showed you last time, but it's really one of my favorites right here. And you see all these different angles. I got to get rid of this to show you. But look at all those different angles in the ground. And this is, I believe it has to do with ancient mining. They were megalithically terraforming the earth. I mean, you don't have triangles like that. Okay. And it got me really passionate. You got me really passionate.
Wow.
Some of these go
Where
on
is
for
this?
40 kilometers. It's near South Africa in Lesotho. And
God, yeah. We
this
gotta
is
get
goes
Michael
on, like
down
I said, let me
there.
put the lines back on so you can see how extensive this is. This is the great escarpment right here. I think it implies that something got washed away because the lines just seem to stop. And then why is Lesotho so visible? I think, and those channels I showed you before we started the show are all right here. They're all leading up into the mountain. This is, if you look at the terraforming, the topographical map of this area, Plato mentioned a big old massive canal system in Atlantis. Okay, I'm not down there yet. Here we are.
There's canal systems everywhere, though.
Well, what about the Kalahari canal systems? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Just kind of weird that Lesotho sticks out on top of this great escarpment. Did they pile debris on top of that? I'm talking about something big, massive. Like I said, there's a lot of lines going into that area. All those yellow lines right there. The Kalahari canals, we talked about it last time. It's right up here. You can see them. You can see these straight lines. It's 250,000 square miles of these straight lines. They're all about a mile wide. And it's like an ancient system that maybe that's what Plato was writing about. I mean,
I don't doubt it at all. We should actually. I'll let you continue going.
I'll show you this up here.
You got to
how we
cover.
See these straight lines. That must have been okay. Look, I'm not a geologist, but I don't think any geologist can say what caused this big, massive complex of straight lines in the middle of Africa. And their canals.
Had to be master builder, demigod, technology.
I agree. Poseidon level shit. Like
exactly
Father Nature, but with intelligent design. I have a better picture of that.
What about like a terraforming type thing, like an agriculture?
Here's an example of where some flood took it out right there. That escarpment,
probably combination of both. And yeah, exactly. That there was this massive tectonic. There's the crustal displacement theory, and even Einstein, before he died, said like his last writings into it was that he ruled in the favor of it being a crustal displacement and cataclysmic tidal wave ocean wipeout over this gradualism of what they currently call
gradualism is uniformitarianism, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's gradualism, and literally before World War I, every single institute in the world, higher academic institute in the world, taught catastrophism and taught that Atlantis was the official history. And when you read these older writings, everybody's, they compare to the grandeur, lost ancient god and demigod building and technology and all of this, the ruins that they walk amongst and that they're belittled by, right? That we're just nothing in comparison to it, as opposed to today's enforced YOLO Western, we're the best that's ever been mindset. That's the exact opposite of what the evidence seems to present.
Look, I'll show a couple more things around here, and then we can get over to Colorado, because I think what you said, this terraforming project here is in the lips of who I call the Englishman. Down below him, if you go straight down below this face, I showed you these straight lines in these mountains down here. I mean, you just get these weird. I don't think these are even really volcanic dikes anymore, because some of them look like they're just poopy mountains. But where was it? I got a little lost. But I'm telling you, they were building mountains with this overburden dumping. And I can take you back to Mali and show you what I showed you. It's called Telebit. Before we do, we'll go back into his lips. I'm telling you, they were terraforming this whole area. This is just one project, and it's not just that line. You see this here, but you also see, let me just zoom in out so you know where we're talking about. Looks like a face. That's the nose. That's the chin. These are the lips. It's called Tibesti Mountains. And this type of project, it's got several different time events. but you can see that they did something to the ground. I mean, it's like they melted it or something. So when you look at the Canyonlands in Utah or the Colorado River and you say that was natural, well, somebody had the power to really terraform this planet. And I don't know what happened here, but it goes all up into the mountains. You start to notice that even up in this mountain here, you start to see the lines are these 90-degree cuts, 45-degree angles, 90 degrees. It's like somebody was working this whole thing. And there's several projects. Over here, you see more of these, I think you could call these volcanic dikes. That's what a geologist would call them, these lines. But which came first, that or the terraformed stuff underneath it that you can see like right here? Like which was first? I kind of feel like maybe these lines came second. Like somebody said, we need to control this water. So they're like, they don't want to make a proper dam. So they just put debris in a nice straight line. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to show you one more thing and then I'll shut my mouth for a bit. But let's go back out. You can see this is Chad. I'm sorry, that's Niger. Sorry, Niger. And I think that all those are fake. But over here, the area in Mali has this thing called telebit. I think this is the smoking gun. I think this is smoking gun because you literally see 100 lines side by side here. And you get the occasional one going across the top like that. You get the cross hatching. Look at this one. If you get in there, they're 60 feet wide. And you can see pictures of this by clicking on the layers and going to photos. Unfortunately, there's none right here, but down south a little bit, we start to see some photos. And you can see what these mountains look like. They're just basically piles of rocks. And it looks like, I bet you if you dug underneath there, you'd find sand again. Like literally, this is so massive and so large. I know I sound crazy even talking about it. I told you I wrote these 2 books, but I'm going to write another book called The Mountain Builders. I'm going to put all this in the same book, The Mountain Builders. And there's different projects, different layers. This one right here is like they just dumped rocks. But in Colorado, they were creating volcanic dikes. Somehow they've got technology that created these big walls. I can get into that later. So Mali, yeah, you get in and take a look at the photographs of these areas, and you just see piles of rocks. These so-called straight line mountains. It'll go back in one more time. There's a circular dike here. Telebit is here. I like the one. That's the one I just showed you. These straight lines. I mean, they were building mountains out of their debris, out of the overburden dumping. Remember, Mansa Musa inherited the gold. Who did all the mining? Look at this part right here. It looks like total cross hatching. Like you can see the things going left and right, but you can also see them going up and down. It's just, to me, it's the big smoking gun that proves that could be 1 million years old. I don't know. It doesn't look 1 million years old because we know the Sahara was green twice in the last 15,000 years. So I don't know. I mean, I just know that somebody was working this planet. Oh, yeah, it gets crazier and crazier up here in the Algeria, Libya. But I promised I'd shut up for a second. So
no, keep going.
Okay, I'm going to zoom into Planetary Valley, Libya. I've shown this a lot. So a lot of people may have seen me show Planetary Valley. When you zoom in here, have you ever been in a machine shop where they're welding metal and you get those spherals all over the floor? I think that's what we're looking at here. I'm going to turn it this way because I feel like we're in
those are actually EVOs, exotic vacuum objects.
Have you ever looked into like mineral rights, like what's rich over there, the uranium deposit? Like, do you ever look into what the resources are in that area?
Gold, iron, in Mauritania, iron. I think that there's all sorts of metals. These are called concretions. But the ones in Peru this is a lake. I don't know where the hell that lake is. I didn't see any lake. And it's missing the good one. Where the hell is that good one at? Hold on, I got it right here. It's right here. This one was in somebody's somebody had posted a photo in there. I mean, that's almost like a perfect sphere in my position, my opinion.
That's
Sorry.
there? That's
it's supposed to be. I could be wrong. It could be I don't have evidence. I didn't see it personally.
Okay.
But yeah, these things are. This is called Planetary Valley.